Hey everyone, welcome to Teach and Play of London with Mandy and Michael. I'm Mandy.
And I'm Michael.
And today we're going to be taking a look at the game London, Martin Wallace game, and it's published by Osprey Games.
Yes.
I'm excited for this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A second edition that is changing it from the original. I've never had a chance to play the original myself, but I understand it had a board and did have some adjacency rules.
Right.
And,
So some changes happening.
That's removed, but yeah, we'll get into that.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, my chat is being very weird and randomly showing messages. I'm going to try my best to catch up. So it's just on the side of the screen. So hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us. I see Needs of the One. We've got some regulars, and yes, Tom and I had a discussion about this game, and
okay.
I know he just recently posted a review.
Yes, he did.
So
yes, he did.
You'll have to wait and see what we think about it, and actually look at the gameplay and see what you think about it.
You can even judge for yourself at this point.
Right. So. Well, if just in case, if you all have questions for us and are not able to get to them in the chat, we also stream on another channel through Twitch with To Die For Games. So you can find us at www.todieforgames.com.
Yes.
Okay.
And I do see Needs of the One is already asking what's the drink/theme.
Yes.
With this being London, it was pretty much a no-brainer for me to pick the beverage for this evening. It's London Porter. So it's a nice porter called London Porter. It fits.
There you go.
All right, shall I?
Yes, you go ahead. The chat is not exactly working right now here, so as you're explaining the game, I will try and get this up and working so I can answer some of your questions and read your comments.
Sounds good. And we do have it in another spot as well, just not quite as accessible. So we will get to it. So yes, we are going to be taking on the roles of architects, looking to rebuild the city of London after the Great Fire of 1666. And try to become the most prestigious architect in the process of doing so. So what we've got is, for the most part, this is going to be card based. We've got two different types of cards in the game. There are city cards that have the back like this, and there are borough cards that have a back like this, and these are the larger form factor cards. So the city cards, there are three different types of city cards, or themes we'll say. There's a brown, pink, and blue. So there's the three different colors, and I'll get into what's on each card individually. But with the three different colors, the brown cards are economic. So generally speaking, these are going to be the ones getting you money throughout the game. The blue cards are science and culture. And then the pink cards are politics, which will usually be endgame points, and these ones will be helping you remove some of the poverty that you build collect as you're building your city. So looking at a breakdown of the card.
This is so weird. The comments are disappearing after they come up.
Yes.
So I'm just reading. So I apologize. Yep. I'm not ignoring you. Just trying to figure it out.
Let me know if you need me to stop at any point.
No, please continue.
Okay. So looking at a breakdown of the cards, the first thing I'm going to point out, now this is going to be a little difficult to see because it is very small on these cards, but at the very top above the name of the card is a letter. So in this case, there's an A here and a C over here. There are three stacks of cards. There's an A, B, and C, and you're going to be sorting the cards and setting up the deck based on the actual types, the A, B, and C, and I'll show that once we get into the setup. So that's the first part, is you've got those letters at the top indicating which deck they're coming from. Then of course you have the title of the card at the top, and then whether or not there's an additional cost to play it. So in this case with the sewers card, it would cost you extra money to play it, whereas if you look at the haberdashers, there is no additional cost. So any additional cost to play would be in that top left corner. But there is also a cost to play cards in general, and that is discarding a card of the similar color, so the similar theme. So if you wanted to play a brown card into your city, you need to discard a brown card as well. I'll get into that a bit further after we cover the setup. Then at the bottom of the cards, let's see here, I'll get some different ones to show you.
Okay.
The bottom of the cards are going to be the effect when you actually run your city. So the first step is you're going to be getting these cards into your city, but when you run them, the bottom shows the benefits. So I'll start with this card. If there was anything in this corner, that would be the activation cost. Anything in the middle is the activation ability, so it's the benefit you get. And then in the far right is whether or not you need to flip the card once you've activated it. Many cards will be flipped, so they're only going to be one-time use, but not all cards. Some cards will actually stay up and you get continued uses out of them. Or a card like this one. There is no additional activation cost. There is no activation ability, but it is endgame points that you're going for at the end of the game. So anything in the diamond is endgame points. So in this case, £5 will get you 4 points once you've built this into your city. And as an example of the activation cost, so here's one that has an activation cost of discarding any card from your hand. And then you would get £12, and then you would flip that card. So that's a breakdown of the city cards.
So just to stop you there, I'm
Yes.
looking at some of the comments, and yes, Martin Wallace games are amazing. I'm very much looking forward to
Brass, yes.
So
yes.
I know I see that in the comments. And
Absolutely.
Side note to gaming, I know I was trying to go for a more serious look today, so we're blue temporarily. So thank you very much for the compliments in the chat.
All right. Yes, burrow cards next. So here's what a burrow card looks like. You'll have, I'll show two of them. These are the starting burrows, first of all. I'll show one that is not a starting burrow, just so you can see the difference. So the starting burrows have these dark gray banner across the top. All other burrows will just have the white, the lighter banner at the top. So there's 3 starting banners that have, or 3 starting burrows that have those gray banners. So looking at the actual card, you have the name of it. So in this case, it's just city, but they'll normally be named burrows that you can build. You'll have where it is in relation to the Thames River. So in this case, it's north of the river, but it is adjacent to the river.
Do you want this one back? There you go.
Yes.
Okay.
So here's another example of one that is north of the river, but not adjacent. And that will have some relevancy depending on the cards that you build. So north of the river adjacent. Then you have the cost to build that burrow, in this case £8. And then every burrow will have a benefit down the side of how many cards you take, how many points you get, and how much poverty you get to remove. And it will always be those 3 things, but in varying amounts, and obviously with a varying cost. And then some burrows will have an ability at the bottom, and sometimes it will also have an activation cost on the bottom right corner. We'll get into those in a little more detail as we're playing the game, and we'll show you the cards that we actually have in play. But one thing I will mention is you can only ever have 1 burrow in play at a time. So let's say I started with that city burrow that I had mentioned. When I purchase it, I would pay the £8, I would get these benefits, and then I would have the ongoing benefit, in this case of when taking a loan, I get to take £12 instead of 10. With this being a Martin Wallace game, you know there's going to be loans, and you'll want to take them, and you'll get punished for doing so, but we'll get into that later. So that would be the active ability for this burrow. But as soon as I get another burrow, the way you would stack them is like this. So you'd still have the area of the previous burrows showing, but the only thing other than that showing is now just the active burrow. So that is now the active ability. You don't see anything else from previous burrows. So those are burrow cards. I'll give you those.
Mm-hmm.
And then, let's see here. Some of the city cards have ongoing effects. So that's the only other part of the cards that I have not shown you. So in this case, shops. There's a banner across the top here, a text box. Now, I know that's hard to see on there, but here it says place £1 from the supply on this card each time you place a card into your building display. I'll explain how that works later, but just know that some of these cards will have an ongoing effect. So I said most of them are one-time use and then they flip, but some like this have an ongoing effect until you use it, and then this one does flip. There are others that wouldn't flip and just stay up until you build over them. And I think that is enough with what we have to work with. There's obviously money involved as well. I'll get this out of the way.
Yeah.
So in terms of setup, let me make sure I've got all A's together here. There's a C. Okay. So in terms of setup, you've obviously got your board in the middle. This is the poverty track. You're not using this to actually track poverty, but it shows you how much of a penalty you're going to get depending on how much poverty you've taken in relation to other players at the table. And that's an important part, because you could have 20 poverty tokens, and at the game you would lose a lot of points with 20. But if other players, like say in a 2-player game, I have 20 and Mandi has 19, it's only in relation to the other players. So technically I would only have 1 poverty and I would lose 1 point. So you want to pay close attention to what other people's have in terms of poverty at the table. Also, looking at the board at the top, you have the prestige track. I'm on the right screen, that's good. So as you're earning points throughout the game, I'll show you the 2 different types of points. Some are instant, some are end game. So I did mention the bottom left corner. Again, there it's pretty small print, but give you an idea. So in the bottom left corner, that solid diamond there is end game points. You don't count those until you're counting up at the end. But this double diamond lighter one that's in the ability box is instant points. So that you would be tracking those on the prestige tracker. A and B. And then in the middle is the discards section. With a 2-player game, you only use the 6 lighter boxes, and then 3-player you would add 2 more, and 4 players you would add the final 2 for the full 10. So whenever you discard, you don't discard to a discard pile. You actually discard into this area, and that means that they are now cards that other players can take. So when you go to draw on your turn, you get to draw from the tableau or from the draw pile. And if you're drawing multiple cards, you can go back and forth. You can choose from wherever you wish to take cards.
So I'm going to jump in.
Sure.
Someone had mentioned, sorry, Benjamin, the chat is only flashes it for a moment, so I think it's Benjamin who asked about the streams. We will be doing these every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, depending if I'm away to con with the rest of the Dice Tower team. So like Essen, I won't be here, but Michael will be doing a solo stream.
Yes, I will try to do a solo.
So help him out, be kind. And so in the event that I'm not available, Michael will try and do a solo stream during that week. Yep. So we hope you all join us, and thank you so much. This is technically our first live one, so
yes, first live one on
many
Dice
more
Tower.
to come.
Yes. Okay, so the way I'm setting up right now is the C deck of cards shuffled and put down first. The B deck then shuffled, put on top of that, and then the A deck will go on top of that as well. So you sort of have a progression of cards as you're going through the deck. Each player starts with 6.
Oh yes, Michael has very good skills with the cards, by the way. I'm terrible at shuffling.
I've had practice. Let's just say that.
Thank you.
6 for you, 6 for me. Also, each player starts with 5 pounds. So Mandy's got her 5 there. I've got my 5 here. I've got little trays that we're going to be using for our poverty tokens, because I don't even think you can see them on the screen. There are black tokens here. We're playing on a black mat. So there are black tokens. The square cubes are 1. The round discs are 5 poverty. And then there are 15 poverty tokens as well. So as we take poverty, we're going to put it in there so that, as you're seeing on the camera, that shows up a lot better.
So you're going to have fun hair in my absence.
Okay, I'll see what I can do. Yeah, I don't want to have any sort of voting for what color.
I know, right? Save that for me.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we've got everything ready to go. We've got the 3 starting burrows. As I said, those have the dark gray banner. You always start with those 3 burrows.
Yes, if anyone's having issues with audio, please let us know. I know we haven't had it before. Okay, great. Let us know, because I know sometimes on Twitch, there's been some issue.
We have seen one person before, when they tuned into Twitch, it was just a refresh, and then things came up fine.
Okay.
So let us know if that's
I'm looking here. Everyone's audio is good. So thank you. Okay, needs the one. Thank you for confirming in Twitch. Awesome.
All right. So I think we've got everything set up, ready to go. And it does in the book recommend that whoever set up the game starts. So I will start. On your turn, you have 4 options. You can develop your city, and that's how you're going to be building your city. You'll be building a tableau in front of you. You can purchase a burrow or build a burrow, which would be one of the 3 available. And as soon as one of those are purchased, it gets replaced from the top of the deck. You can run your city, which will make more sense once we have a city up and running. So any cards that are face up here, you'd then be activating all of those activation boxes and abilities on the bottom of the card. Or you can draw 3 cards. Now, when you start your turn, you always start by drawing 1 card. And then if you wanted to say draw 3 cards, you would draw an additional 3 cards after that.
Right.
So I'll start. I will start by drawing a card. Hand limit is 9. You can go over 9 during your turn, but at the end of your turn, you must discard back down to 9. And there's one card that I have not mentioned yet, the poppers. There are poppers in here that really don't do much other than clog up your hand. I do not have any at the moment. Spoilers for Mandi. But once I get one, I will show you what they look like, and I'll describe how you can get rid of them, because you cannot just voluntarily discard them. So I've started my turn by drawing a card. Next, I will look at what the options are.
Any enticing you?
Maybe. If you have 3, 6, 7. You know what? I'm just going to take my first turn drawing 3 more.
U.S. release date for this game.
Ooh, that's a good question.
That is a very good question. I should know this. From what I was told, they're doing pre-orders right now.
Okay.
I thought it was around Essen, but you know what? Let me confirm that. I know there are people potentially watching from Osprey as well, and they can confirm this, but I will hopefully have an answer for you.
My impression was it was an Essen release as well.
That's
which
what
means,
I was told.
It should be shortly after that as well. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, so I drew up my 3. Now I am over my hand size limit, so I'm at 10, which means I need to discard 1, and conveniently enough, I did actually get one of the poppers I was telling you about.
Ew.
So, there's poppers. This card does absolutely nothing for you, with one very small exception. There's one card that will give you money for throwing these away. The only way that you can get rid of these would be with the activation cost of some cards. I do not have any at the moment, but if you remember in the bottom left corner, I showed you one card did say discard any card from your hand. You can use those cards to activate the ability on that card. The other way is if you get over the limit of 9, now you can discard any cards you wish to get back down to 9. So I'm over by 1. I will discard those poppers to get it out of my hand.
Thinking you do the one 23rd of October, so it's
perfect. Thank you.
It is actually around Essen, so that's perfect.
Excellent. So again, when you discard, you're discarding into the tableau in the middle, and you always discard into the top row first. Sometimes you might have a situation where there are cards in the bottom. If there's spaces in the top, you still discard to the top first. And these will start to refresh as we get through. I'll show how that happens when we get to that point. So that's my turn.
All right, so I will start my turn by drawing a card. Oh dear, this is a bit of a situation now, isn't it?
Pronounced as porpers. That would make more sense thematically. Porpers. Good to know. Thank you.
Someone's talking about pronunciation?
Yes. Yes, Dave Dodge.
Okay.
We in England pronounce it as porpers.
All right. Oh, well, it is thematic. So I will actually develop my city. Oh boy. So now by doing so, the choices are endless.
So when you go to develop your city, that's how you get the cards face up and start building your city. To do so, for every card you wish to play, you must discard a card of the same color and then pay any additional costs if there are any.
So I'm putting down the vintners, which is going to eventually, when I run my city, give me £4. However, I am getting rid of the stock exchange.
Okay.
And why stop there? Ooh. Interesting. Ooh. Oh, this is so hard.
Well, Mandi's thinking there's one more card that I haven't mentioned yet, and they're called action cards.
Oh, I was just about to play one.
Okay, so there's only 4 action cards. If you are about to play it, I'll show it.
Yep.
So again, only 4 of these in the deck. So Huguenots is one of them. And in the text box, again, I know that's a little small to see, it does say action, and then what the action is. When you play one of these, first of all, it can only be done when you take the develop your city action, which Mandi is doing right now, and you do not need to discard a card to play it. You just play it directly from hand.
Exactly, which I will do now. The action, draw 2 cards, then remove this card from the game. So it actually will not be going into my city. It'll be going away, And I will draw 2 cards.
And when Mandi's drawing 2 cards, again, she has the choice. Now that there's cards in the tableau here, she can be taken from the tableau or from the deck.
Oh, that was horrific. But, I'm going to now place this in my city. So the East India Company, which is actually going to cost me 4.
Yep.
Because there is a cost to this one. No one judge my piles. I'm sorry. But I'm looking at the 12 pounds it potentially can give me later. And, oh, well, that's nice. The coffee house. And this is the one we had talked about.
Before you go any further, you still need to discard one for
for that
building.
one. Yep. My apologies. There we go.
Okay.
And then this is the one that I got ahead of myself with the coffee house here. Yes, do not expend a card to place. Place the action. Later on that will happen. If you want to show that one. Huguenots.
So, in my first game playing this, I had misplayed this, and I've seen that happen a couple times because I've played it a few times since. So, at the top, it does say for the coffee house, do not expend a card to place. So you don't have to throw away another brown card to place this. And then at the bottom, the ability is place any card on the development board on top of this card, paying its additional cost, and you may activate it this turn. But that is not this turn that you're playing this into your city. It's the turn that you activate your city or run your city, and then activate each of the cards. That's when you get to activate that bottom ability. But what that basically does is it serves almost as a wild, and when you run your city, you get to run anything that is currently sitting in the tableau in the middle.
All right, and I think that will end my turn. I didn't have to expend a card for this, so.
Correct. Okay, that's it.
Yes, that was a very lengthy turn.
All right, back to me. So, you always start your turn by drawing a card. Let's see here. 2, 4, 5, 6. All right, I'm going to take from the tableau.
I knew you were going to take that one.
Take Covent Garden. And then I as well will develop my city. Now, before I start developing, I'm going to talk about poverty. Poverty, as you can guess, is not a good thing. It is worth negative points at the end. And it's very difficult to get rid of. It's hard to manage poverty properly, which is why you want to keep a close eye on what other people at the table have, because it's all relative to the other players. When you run your city, you will be taking poverty based on how many stacks you have running. So let's say I have 5 stacks. We'll pretend these are all face up. If I had 5 stacks running in my city, once I've actually used all 5 cards, or whichever cards I choose, you have the option, I then take 1 poverty for each card that's in there, plus 1 poverty for each card that's in my hand, plus 1 poverty for any 10-pound loans that you have. For every 10 pounds, it's another poverty. So we can start adding up quickly. And the way the stacks work in this game is there's no way to remove them. So your city will be more efficient if you have, or you'll be able to do more if you have more stacks going. So let's say I had 7 cards active. That's great. I get to do 7 different things. But that is 7 poverty I will need to take. So it's a balancing act that you have to be careful of. You don't want to have too many stacks going and then taking all the corresponding poverty to do so. It's finding that sweet spot. So let's see here. I will develop my city. All right, so I'm going to start with the leather industry.
Pull these down here a bit.
There's no additional cost, but I do need to discard one. I'll discard the haberdashers. So I'll show the occasional cards so you can see what's going on here. So the leather industry, there was no additional cost to play it. I just needed to discard a card of the similar color. There's no activation cost when I do finally run my city, but this is going to get me 7 pounds. However, I will also have to take, that is taking poverty. So this is a bit better than, we'll say, the one that I threw away, haberdashers, which is only giving me 4 pounds, but not giving me poverty. In this case, I would have to take a poverty, and then, like most cards, you flip it over at the end, and this is worth 1 point as well at the end of the game. And you can develop as many as you wish on the same turn, as long as you can continue to throw cards away of the same type as well. So I will continue to do so.
It's hard. You don't want to create too many stacks because, I mean, you want the benefits, but you also don't want to be acquiring a lot of poverty, because trust me, that adds up really quickly.
It does. My first game of this, the game taught me a lesson.
To be fair, there were a couple cards we didn't play correctly the first go around.
But yeah, I took. It was ridiculous how much poverty I had going in my city. Okay, I will play one of the action cards. So this is the Wren. Action: put any 2 cards from your hand in your building display, then remove this card from the game. You must still pay their additional cost. So basically what this card is letting me doing as an action is put 2 cards into my display without having to pay that fee of discarding cards as well. So it lets me be a little more efficient with getting the cards out as quickly as possible. So let's see here. One of them that I will play is Covent Garden. That gets me money and points. Mm-hmm. And then I'll go with Fishmongers as well. So that's the 2 cards for the action card that I played. I will also play...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm going to build my city. I'm going to build a coffee house.
I see that.
So this is the same card that Mandi had played, coffee house. I do not need to expend a card to place this.
Oh, the box? The box is a decent size. Someone's saying it looks small. So this is to give you an idea.
That's a small one.
This is a really small box.
That's Tortuga.
And to give you an idea, there's for size.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it does have a nice insert. I'm going to go over quality at the end because there actually is one thing that I do have an issue with. Everything is great quality, but
save it for the end.
Yes, I'll save it for the end. But it is a nice box and a great insert. Okay. I will continue building my city.
Will you continue?
Do I want to go to 5?
Yes, you do. Come on. Push it over.
Yeah,
I know. Stack. Be a little greedy.
Let's see here. Oh boy.
This is the dilemma. You want all the stuff.
And if I do go to 5, that's it. I have at least 5 for the entire game. There's no way to reduce stacks. Because what happens is, once you run your city, any cards that flip just literally flip over, but remain as stacks. And even if I decide not to use a card when I run my city, doesn't matter. You take a poverty for every stack that is active. So, oh boy. You know what? Yeah, I'm going for one more.
Oh, wow. Going for it. Good for you.
Vauxhall Gardens. Discarding St. Paul's.
Oh, wow. St. Paul's is woo.
St. Paul's is expensive. This is an early game card, and if you've got money early game, it's great. It's £8 to get it in play. No abilities here, but it's worth 6 points. Whereas the ratio for points at the end for money is every £3 gets you a point. So in that case, £8 is getting you 6. That's a great return. But money can be very tight in this game. So if you're spending money on that, you can't really spend money on anything else early in the game. Over to you.
All right, so I need to draw a card. Oh boy. Well, that wasn't what I would have liked, but can't complain. Okay, so I think I will actually run my city. It's relatively small right now, but I still think...
Also means not a lot of poverty.
Well, yet is the question. So let's start with the coffee house. And I'm actually going to, so this is where I take a card from the development board and place it on top of this, and I'm going to activate it this turn. So I'm actually going to take the haberdashers, place it on top of the coffee house, which is going to give me £4.
Yep.
Let's do that, and then it's going to flip.
So when you're activating your city, you get to activate in any order you choose. It does not have to be left to right. And the order can at times be very important. And I have the perfect scenario here to show you that when I do run my city. But you can choose any order you wish.
The East India Company is going to net me £12, and I also get to discard a card. Oh, thank goodness. Bye to the paupers. I'll get my 12. And 2 more. Okay. That will be flipped over. And finally, the Vintners is going to give me 4. So I'll take a 5, put a 1 back.
Yep.
And that also flips. Now, oh boy.
So once you've run your city, then you need to take the corresponding amount of poverty. So it's 1 for each stack.
1, 2, 3.
And 1 for each card.
4, 5, 6.
And then you would also have to take poverty if you had any loans. Again, every £10 you would have to take 1 poverty.
Okay, so the circles are 5 and the squares are 1.
Perfect.
Oh boy, that's the end of my turn.
Yeah, you can see the difference between the cubes and the discs. Yeah,
I think so. All right.
If at any point you want to know how much poverty we have, we can answer that.
Absolutely.
Okay, so it's over to me. Let's see here. I will take from the top.
Yep.
And I will also run my city.
Oh, wow. Quite a bit happening there.
Now, the reason I had said that order is important was, here's a good example. So the two cards I have here, one of them is going to add poverty, the other one is going to remove poverty. So if you were stuck having to go in order and the remove was first, and you have no poverty, that serves no purpose whatsoever. But order is not important. So you can do these in any order you wish. So let's see here. Coffee house, not great options out here. Actually, no, there is a very good option here.
Darn right.
I could take St. Paul's without having to pay the price.
Yes, you can.
Wait.
No, you get to...
Paying its additional cost. No.
Yes, you would have to take the 8.
Yeah, I would have to pay it. Okay. Then I guess I'm going to be taking money from you, which is okay. I'll trigger the coffee house first. So I get to take something from the display.
I'm feeling rich.
And I can run it this time, and I will. So I take £2. Now this is a card. There are a few cards in the game that would be stronger with 3 or 4 players. And in the case of the stock exchange, it's take 2 from each player. In a 2-player game, you're only going to net 2, and you're only affecting 1 player. But if this was a 4-player game, that would be a much stronger card. And there are a couple examples. I'll show the others when they do come up. Leather industry. I get £7.
Not too bad. Ooh, but I see something else.
And I have to take a poverty. Done. And then that flips. It's also worth a point at the end. Covent Gardens gets me 5.
Get some points.
And gets me 2 points. So I'm on the board, and that flips. Fishmongers will get me another £5 and flips. And Vauxhall Gardens gets me £2, 2 points, and lets me remove that poverty. And flips. So I've got 5, 6, 7, 8 poverty coming back to me. So you can see where that's going to start adding up rather quickly. There are cards that help you try and remove it, but it's very hard to manage. And that's me.
Alrighty, so I will draw a card. Fantastic. And I will develop some land.
Okay.
So I think I will get a borough.
Yep.
And, well, this is looking rather nice at £8, the city. So I will purchase that for 8. 1, 2. And that is going to make its way over here.
Okay, so again, when you purchase a borough, they will always have number of cards, number of points, and number of poverty you get to remove. So the boroughs are one method of trying to remove poverty.
All right, so yes, there are 2 separate chats. We've aligned them into one for us to see. It's at Twitch and YouTube.
Yeah, we're dual streaming to the 2, and
1,
we have a bot that's
2,
running that's allowing both chats
3.
to be able to talk so that you're not hearing half of a or seeing half of a conversation.
So the first part of this was to draw 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I'm still all right. Okay. 6 points. If you could move me 6 points,
absolutely.
Fine, sir.
And again, when you're drawing cards, even if it's from those borough cards, you have the choice from the tableau or from the draw deck.
And the last thing is to remove 2 poverty. So I'm trading in my 5.
Okay.
Taking 3.
Very good.
And my ability is when you take a loan, take £12 rather than £10.
Okay. So now that we've got loans coming up, I'll replace this first.
Yes, thank you.
So loans have been mentioned. There are these tokens. Again, Martin Wallace game. There's always ways to get yourself into trouble. So there's these loan tokens. You can take loans at any point. It's not an action. If you have to pay for something and cannot, then you must take a loan. £10 increments. When you go to repay it, first of all, it can only be repaid at the start of your turn. Secondly, you pay it back at £15 for every 10 that you've taken. So there's a 50% interest on those loans. Now the borough that Mandi just bought, the city card, lets her take a £12 loan instead of a 10. So repaying 15 means it's only a 33% interest instead of the 50% normally.
Ooh.
Still scary to take loans though.
Sorry, my turn is done.
You're done? Okay.
Oh yes, I was just perusing through my cards.
All right. Well, I will start by drawing a card.
Wow.
And then I think I will also purchase a borough. So let's see here.
Westminster, Hammersmith, Southwark, and
I'm
Bermondsey.
liking the look of Hammersmith.
Hammersmith?
Yes.
There you are.
So I'm going to show this first. So again, here's a borough card. So this is on the north side of the Thames River, and it is river adjacent. It's going to cost me £8, and then it will get me 3 cards, 2 points, let me remove a poverty, plus every time I run my city, if this is the active borough, I will get £2 and get to remove another poverty. But it's only if this is the active one, because again, you can only have 1 active at a time. That's going to cost me 8.
Okay.
I get 3 cards, and I think I'm just going to take all 3 off the top.
Nothing here that catches
no,
your fancy?
No, not really. Not liking the look of that at all. I get 2 points. You said you were yellow. And I get to remove 1 poverty.
Yes, Matthew, I've never played brass either, and I also ordered both, so...
Yeah, same here.
Looking forward to it.
Same here.
All right.
I love everything that Roxley does. I've got the Tesla version of Steampunk Rally and the Zeus version of Santorini.
Yeah, some good stuff. They make good games.
Yeah.
Okay, so, you're done?
I am done.
Fantastic. Oh, my goodness. Oh, actually, that is good. I will draw this little card right here.
Interesting.
All right. I've got plans. Don't you worry.
Oh, I'm not worried.
Oh, you're not? Yes, thank you. It's right in front of me, but yet I forgot to refill. I'm deep in thought. So now I will actually, let's see here. All right, so we're going to add some cards into my city here. So we will build. I'm sorry, the technical term is to...
you're going to develop
your city.
Yep.
I say build, but really should be develop your city.
Yep.
Okay, so let's get to it. Oh, I just realized how expensive that was. Yuck. All right, we'll start with this.
So when you go to develop a second time, you're just developing on top of the same stacks. Now in the case of, actually, do you mind if I grab the card that you picked up?
Yeah. There you go.
So in the case of a card like this, and that's St. Paul's, so it's £8 to get into play, no special abilities at the bottom. It is strictly for endgame points. What you're going to do is when you build that, that'll be face up. You can then build over it. It's not a locked in spot that is now useless. There's no way to flip that card because there's no ability on it that would then flip it, but you're allowed to just build over it. However, you cannot do that on the same turn that you built that. So you can't build it and then build something else right away. You need to wait until another turn.
Thank you.
Welcome.
All right, so first I will build the leather industry. It's going to be £7 in a poverty, but you know, do what we have to do. And I will remove the Bank of England.
Okay.
And then I will build the Mercers, or add the Mercers, and get rid of the Assaulters.
Okay.
And then, ooh, that seems a little rich. Yes, I said rich.
Are you going to get St. Paul's into play?
No, I don't think so.
Or did you just pick that up so you could build something else blue?
Yep, you got it.
And that is part of it. Because again, you need to discard something to be able to develop something into your city. So sometimes you might look at it, for example, I've got 6 brown cards in my hand right now. If I only had 5 and I wanted to build 3 of them, then I'd look to see if there's another brown card in the tableau that I could put into my hand to match that up and be able to build it.
So I ended up building the hospital, paid £2, and St. Paul's went right back.
But that gave you the ability to build that. And I will grab that because this is
just about to explain what that is.
A slightly different card. So the hospital is one of the ones with an ongoing effect. It is £2 to get it into play. You see there's no ability at the bottom here. However, it has an ongoing text box at the top, which reads, when you would flip another card in your display, you may flip this card instead. So it basically lets you get 2 uses out of one of your better cards that would normally have to flip.
And then finally, I think I will play the Great Fire Monument.
Okay.
Pay 5. Where did all my money go? And
it disappears quickly.
Dispose of Woolwich Arsenal.
All right.
And that will be the end of my turn.
So we have a full display now. It stays like that until somebody goes to discard and there is no room. Once that happens, the bottom row gets removed the top row gets slid down to the bottom, and then you start discarding to the top again. So that last one you built was just a points-only card.
Strictly points.
You're still trying to run a relatively tight ship compared to the loose city I've got going.
I refuse to take a loan. Refuse.
All right, let's see here.
I played this with Rodney. He's the one who initially taught it to me. And yes, they all had loans, and I refused to take one.
Yeah, the first game I played, I think I took 2 or 3 loans, and then I had a really tough time trying to get rid of them.
It's hard.
Yeah. Okay, let's see here. I'll draw St. Paul's.
Oh, you will?
I will.
Oh, okay then.
Probably for the same use that you drew St. Paul's. And then I will develop my city. I'm going to go with, let's see here, I'm okay for money. All right, I'm going to go with brewing. Costs me £2.
Mm-hmm.
And I will discard the steamboats to do so.
Yeah, so you start by discarding on the top row, but when both rows are full, you discard the bottom.
Yeah.
Correct. So these will be removed, and these will come down.
It's about to happen, so you'll see it in action.
You will see it in action.
So here's one way that you can try and manage the poverty as best possible. So the workers' houses. Ability is just remove 2 poverty. It's still hard to keep up because when you think about it, that stack is going to generate 1. So it's a net of 1 down, and I'm already sitting at 7. So it can be tricky, but I'll get that in play. I need to discard, and I'll discard the grocers. So yes, stacks, or the tableau is full. The bottom row goes, top moves down, and then you discard to the top again. Now let's say at some point somebody draws a card from the bottom row. You still discard to the top, and you keep going until everything's full, and then you do the same thing. Wipe the bottom, discard to the top. All right, then I will get some almhouses into play, which also lets me discard 2.
Ooh, getting rid of all that poverty.
I'm trying, yeah. 2
so
poverty.
the first few discards actually stay in play longer.
Correct,
Yeah.
exactly.
And this is what we had a discussion about,
I think. I felt it was odd that the first ones, because you're discarding to the top first, they stay longer than that first row across the bottom, but it is just for that first row because after that everything cycles properly.
Exactly.
Yep. But yes, I had the same question about that. And then lastly, I'll get the waterworks into play. That costs me £1, and then I will discard St. Paul's.
I see you're doing a very different approach.
I'm trying, yes.
I see that. All right, so to start
Doesn't mean it's a successful approach,
hey, listen,
but it is a different approach.
Do what you got to do. So I will draw from here.
Basically, I've told them that it's very difficult to manage poverty, so I'm going to do my best to prove myself wrong and manage poverty.
And I will... Interesting. Okay, so I will actually build into my city. So I will play this on top of this card.
Yep. So Mandi's playing over one of those cards that is just for points. She was not able to play over it on the same turn, so she's playing over it this turn.
And I'm paying the £1 because that's how much I have to pay in order to play it. And, well, St. Paul's.
Okay. Right now, that's all we're using it for is
St. Paul's is just
an ability to play other cards.
And, yeah, that'll be the end of my turn.
Okay, so right now I have no cards. And that is the best time to be running your city because you also take poverty for every card in your hand. Now I do need to start by taking a card at the start of my turn, so I think I'm just going to draw from the top.
Okay.
And I'm going to stick with my decision. Even though I have nothing on this stack, I can still run my city. It's just not as efficient as it would be because I'm taking poverty for this, whether there's anything there or not. All right. Oh, and I forgot to do that last time.
Oh.
I will do it this time.
Okay.
That's fine. I forgot. That's my fault.
That's okay. It happens.
So I will trigger the order here is irrelevant. I'll trigger the brewing first, which lets me discard a card. So that's that one card that I now have in my hand. So bottom row goes, those slide down. And after that, I then get £9. I'll take 10, discard 1. That flips. And then the next 3 cards I have are all remove 2 poverty. So that is a total of 6 poverty that I get to take out.
That's pretty good.
And then one thing I did forget to do last turn, so I will show it this time. That special ability on the burrow card. Now, in this case, it is a benefit. There are some burrow cards.
Like mine.
which is nothing. That's
Right.
fine. But there are actually some that is a detriment. So in this case, if this was my active burrow card, I would have to take an additional poverty. But the reason is this is going to be a stronger ability, whereas the card that I have right now, there is no ability. That is its benefit, is removing a poverty and taking 2 pounds.
Yeah.
And I will not forget to do that this time. So
Well,
remove a
especially 'cause
poverty.
it's removing poverty.
That puts me at 0. And take 2 pounds.
Nice.
So then 1 for every stack, which is 5, 1 for every card, which is none. I take 5 poverty back. That's me.
Alrighty. So I will. Ooh, gain 1 for each. No, we're going to draw a card. If I can actually get one off the deck. There we go. Not too shabby. And I will also run my city. It's not super spectacular at this point, but I want to. So with that being said, the leather industry is going to give me 7.
Yep.
7 pounds, but I am gaining a poverty.
Yeah, you are.
This card gets flipped. The Mercer's is giving me 5, and that gets flipped. The hospital.
Matthew Porter says, "Man, this game looks nice." I agree. I'm not able to watch a lot of the chat. I'll try and catch the odd thing that goes by, but normally with all the explaining, I'm not able to focus on chat. I did see that, and yeah, I completely agree. I love the color palette they used. I love the design behind it. It's very nice.
So this card allows me to remove 2 poverty.
Yep.
However, I have the hospital card, which says I can flip this card instead of flipping another card. So I will do that.
So that gives Mandi a second use out of that card of removing poverty.
Right, and I don't have anything here to give me poverty with my burrow.
Correct.
So now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right.
Not great, but not terrible.
So I will start by drawing a card. And now I need cards. I need lots of cards. So there's 2 ways that I could do that. Again, one of the 4 actions you can do on your turn is to just draw 3 cards. Another way to do that is purchasing a burrow, because a burrow will always give you additional cards. Now, that's going to be at the loss of the ability I have on my current burrow, because you can only have 1 active at a time. So the question is, yeah, see, I don't want to take that one because it adds, you know what?
Yeah.
As tempting as it is, I think I'm just
I
going to...
didn't know that was in the shot.
What's that?
Your collection behind you.
Oh, yes. Oh, whoop, thank you. Yes, that is but a taste of what's... Anyway, okay.
I digress.
Yeah. Do I want to take poverty every time I run my city just for the sake of 4 cards?
Yes.
I know you want me to.
Yes.
Okay, what's the ability on this?
Oh my goodness.
Once per turn, exchange a card in hand with a card from the development board. That's some nice flexibility. All right, I'm going to do it.
Oh, you're taking it.
Yep.
All right.
I will build a burrow. So that cost me 5 pounds. I get 4 cards. So let's see here. I will draw a couple from the top first, and then I will assess. I will get 1 more from the top. Oh my god. And I'll get 1 more from the top.
Get a
All
popper.
right. That's 4. I get 1 point. I get to remove 2 poverty.
Which is nice.
And so again, the ability on the burrow that I just purchased is once per turn, exchange a card in hand with a card in the development board. That becomes active immediately. So I can actually use that right now, and I will.
Oh.
Bye-bye, Porpers. And hello. Hello, Upholders. Okay.
All right. You good?
That's me.
Alrighty-roo. So I think what I shall do...
So again, that is a strong card, letting me swap cards freely once per turn. But that's why it has the additional cost every time I run my city of 1 additional poverty.
Interesting. Okay, so I shall... I don't even want to know what's happening over there. I'm going to...
Rapunzel mentioning that that's only half of what's back there.
Ah.
It's not even half of what's back there.
So I think I will acquire a burrow for myself as well. So I think that I shall take... Well, I'm kind of poor. Oh, well. You got to spend money to make money. So I'm actually going to take Westminster.
That's what you hope.
Well, I'm going to go with that philosophy. If it's correct, well,
Okay.
we'll find out soon enough. So Westminster, which is going to give me 2 cards. Oh,
4 points?
Boy. Yes, 4 points. Okay. I think I might actually have to take that.
Okay.
And I get to remove 2 poverty.
Very good.
Now this is one. Oh, I like the ability on this. At the start of your turn, instead of drawing, you can draw 0, 1, or 2 cards.
So that's some nice flexibility, because normally at the start of your turn, you must draw 1 card. That says you can draw 0, 1, or 2. So if you're looking to build your hand back up so that you can develop, drawing 2 at the start of your turn is a great way to do it. 0 is also great because if you know that you're going to run your city on your next turn, you don't want additional cards in your hand because you have to take poverty for every card in your hand.
Exactly.
So drawing 0 is also a great option.
However, every time I run my city, I have to pay a pound.
It takes an extra
Yikes.
pound. Exactly, yeah. So if there's a strong ability, there's normally an additional cost behind it.
Rich.
But purchasing or building a burrow is also a great way to get that influx of cards into your hand, along with some points removing some poverty. So
exactly.
Okay.
That's the end of my turn.
Over to me, eh? Well, I'll draw from the top.
Okay.
I will trigger my once per turn ability, but not yet. For my action, I'm just going to draw 3 cards.
Okay.
I'm going to see what I get.
Be a nice mishmash.
And I'll take that for the 3rd. And then I will trigger that ability to swap this with something else.
Okay.
And then hand size. 3, 6, 9. Perfect.
Nice.
Over to you.
Okay, and you can maybe take a look at that question while I'm determining my turn. And I have, if that's...
All right, so Matthew Porter, have you played this? Have you all played this 4-player? And if so, how is the downtime between your turns? Plenty to think about between turns. Seems like the main thing you're watching is your opponents. On your opponents is their total. I have not, and I'm quite curious how it would play with 4. I think game time would be about the same because game goes until you run out of the stack, but you're going to have fewer turns in the length of the game. You said you have played it with 4?
Yes. So sorry, just for my action there, I drew 2 cards. That's based on my ability.
Okay, so that was the start of your turn?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, when I first played this game, I played it with Rodney and a few people at HalCon, and we played it with 4. And I found with 4, it almost gets a little more, I don't want to say cutthroat, but a lot of the cards I find will tend to have greater benefit for you.
Like I was mentioning with the card that lets you take 2 pounds from each player. Not very effective in a 2-player game.
No.
Or there are some that I think lets you hand out poverty as well. So that provides a few more options with some of the cards, but there's only a few that do that.
It gets a bit more competitive, definitely with 4, which makes sense. More players, less resources.
And scores would be lower as well. With 2 players, you're basically getting half of the deck through the course of the game. You're getting half of the deck, and the other player's getting the other half. So, in theory, the scores are going to be much higher. Do you remember if anybody rolled over 50?
No.
No? Okay. No. Whereas in every game that I've played with 2, it's rolled over 50 and even gotten up to 70.
Yeah.
Now, in my first game, I rolled over 50 and went back down to like 15 or 20, but yes.
But that was the starter game.
It was.
Okay, so for my action, I'm actually going to draw. So I have 6 cards now. I'm going to draw another 3 cards as my action.
Can that interest you in any fine
Absolutely not.
All right.
And I have one more.
Thought I'd give you the option.
I think this will bring me to 9. Yes, that is correct.
All right. Over to me. I'll start by drawing. And I will develop my city. So let's see what I've got here. That would be nice, but irrelevant. So I will show what I'm talking about here. Here's a card called Townhouses. It costs 4 pounds to get into play. And its ability is gain 1 prestige for each blue and pink card on your building display, including this one, which would be fantastic. Until you see my hand is all brown.
Try not to look.
That's all right. So that card's not going to do me any good right now. If I had a lot of pinks and blues, I'd try and build those along with that card to get some good points. But I do not, so I will build the hospital instead. That costs 2, and I will discard those townhouses.
Yeah, well, that's unfortunate.
Then...
No, and then...
Oh, I should have actually read all the cards.
Oh no.
This is what happens when trying to teach. I'll lose out on 1 pound here, but that's okay. Shops. I should have built this one first. So Shops has an ongoing ability in that text box. And its ability is basically every time you build something into your city, you get to put a pound onto the Shops card.
That's a nice one.
So I should have built that one first.
Oh.
So
I'll
build Shops.
Park. I'm fun. Oh, and I saw a comment about Hero Realms. I remember how we started with Star Realms.
Yep.
Okay, he's gonna say it. Anyway.
No, you're gonna say
Fine.
it. Go on.
I was never a huge fan of deck builders, and lately I've been killing them.
That's an improvement.
Okay.
That's an improvement. Because Mandi would always say, I'm not normally a fan of deck builders. But, and I heard that deck builder after deck builder after deck builder. So I finally said, if we're doing another deck builder on the stream, it's only under the condition that you say on camera, I actually like deck builders.
All right, all right.
So you didn't quite say it there, but you said, in the past, I hadn't liked deck builders.
Uh-oh. Someone said the stream died. So let's hope that's not the case.
According to OBS, we're still running.
Okay. If anybody else is watching on
No
YouTube, can you
drop
please
frames.
confirm if we are still running?
Yeah.
We did receive something about it dropping, so... Oh, well, I see
No,
ha ha
still
ha, so I
comments.
don't know, but we'll find out. I don't know if that's a yay or a nay, but we'll find out in a second. I'll double check on my phone.
Everything looks good on this end, but...
Nope, it looks good.
Okay.
Someone's playing a mean joke. But as I was saying before, Hero Realms I quite enjoy, and the new campaign deck that came out of the Kickstarter, that's one that we will be streaming live as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
That might be a few weeks from now, but we will be looking to stream that.
All right, so I apologize.
So I built the shops. I discarded the grocers to do so.
Now I'm getting asked about favorite deck builders. I think about that, actually.
Clockmaker's coming into play, discarding...
Okay, thanks everybody for confirming the stream. And
Thank you.
Star Realms, I really... Okay, if anybody likes the app, I play that a lot, so...
So what I've just done...
Okay, I thought you were laughing because we got the stream dropped.
Oh.
They were laughing about my deck builders.
Yeah.
See, that's going to be a thing now. I don't know if I should have told everyone.
Technically I did, and I don't mind that I did. Okay, so I did build something after shops, which means I got to put a pound on it. Whenever I run my city, I can choose to use this card. So again, when you run your city, you can choose which cards you actually run. Obviously, you want to run as many as possible because they're taking poverty whether you use them or not.
Right.
But with shops, you get a pound on it every time you build something into your city. So you could just let that sit and get a pound every time. So let it sit for a round or two. I'll judge that based on... We'll see what happens. Then I will build one more. Albert Dock will cost me 2 pounds. And I will discard the Turners. And that gets an extra pound. Oh, I think I took a pound from there. Oh well, we'll see.
We'll find out. We'll look back on the stream.
It serves absolutely no purpose if I'm taking my own money and putting it there.
That is
Welcome to trying to teach live. Okay.
All right, so you're done?
Yep.
All right, so I get to draw. I think we're going to draw no cards at this point. I have a multitude to choose from.
And again, the only reason Mandi has that option is the burrow that she currently has active. She can draw no cards.
Correct. So I think I will play... Oh, that seems so rich. But I like where it's going. So I will play Oxford. Sorry, I'm going to build my city here. So I'm going to play Oxford Street, which is going to cost me 4 pounds.
Yep.
It's dwindling here. And I need to remove a card. So I think I will get rid of shops. So these are all gone. I'll let you do that. Nails get in the way. There we go. And now what else do I want to get rid of? Oh, that's good. Oh, that's also really good. But I kind of like this. It's kind of interesting. So I'll play Lloyd's of London.
Okay.
And I will get rid of Highgate Cemetery. And I don't know if you want to show this. We had talked about this with the cards. It looks like it's an ore, but it's not.
Oh, right, yes.
And yes, Clank.
I've only had the option to... I've only been able to play Clank once, and I did enjoy it.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So this card, Lloyd's of London, at the bottom you can see it has its ability in text and another one underneath this line, which is taking money. In most games, if they have a line between two options, it's normally an either or, but in this case, you still do everything that is on that text box.
Right.
It is not a choice.
Thank you. And you should find out what people... Lloyd's of London. I should really think about what people think of Clank in Space, because it's one we have, so something to consider. Okay, so I have one more to do here. It's just a matter of what I'd like to do and what's not going to cost me $1 million.
And yes, that was Lloyd's of London.
Yeah, I just thought about that right now. I'll get rid of Millbank Prison, and I will build a fire brigade.
Okay.
All right, and that will end my turn.
Okay. Let me see here. Do I run it one card short again? Yeah, maybe 5 was a poor life choice. I don't know.
Poor life choice. No, now I feel bad. I'm sorry. No, I don't think you're cruel. Apparently my mind just goes there. So I apologize. I should not have done that.
Laughing at the, yes.
I know, now I feel so evil. I'm so sorry.
Well, I will start by drawing a card.
Decisions.
Oh, I don't know. Whoa. I don't know.
Just like not having a monocle, Pa.
Yes, that's.
Thanks for that, Rapunzel. I'm sure there's
yeah.
something there.
Yeah, we went to VIP theaters.
Hashtag poor life choices.
Yeah, and I said I've got 2 pocket watches and no monocle. That's just poor life choices right there. Okay.
Lords of London.
I will take that.
Great. I need to find out who this is. I'm cruel, just not that cruel.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's great.
Okay. And I will yeah, I'm going to develop my city.
Oh.
Even though it's only one more spot.
It's still worth it.
I want my city to be more efficient. So, I will
My city's looking rough.
I will build Highgate Cemetery, costing £4.
Mm-hmm.
And because I'm building another one, that goes another £1 onto the shops, and discard
Look at you.
Regent Street, and that is my turn. A short one, but that is my turn.
Okay, I feel like I want to do some stuff, but I have a lot of stuff.
You want more stacks. That's what you want.
No, I don't want more
Oh,
stuff.
you absolutely do. It's more efficient to have more things around.
My better judgment.
There we go.
I'm going to run my city. Ooh, I got to do it.
Did you opt for 0 cards, or did you already pick up?
I opt for 0.
Opt for 0? Okay.
Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. Wow, and I have nothing that gets rid of cards. What was I thinking? Apparently I was not. Okay, so...
Thinking is optional.
Well, apparently.
We're here to teach you how to play, not how to play well.
Every other player must pay £1 to the supply for each riverside borough they own. I don't know if you have.
I have 2 riverside boroughs.
Look at that.
So it was how much?
Just 1 per.
1 per? Okay. So I'll show you the boroughs that I have, because they're being referenced now. So I have these 2 boroughs, and it does show here, because it has that blue background with sort of the waves underneath the letter. That indicates that they are riverside boroughs. And Mandy's card that she's running right now says that I have to pay £1 per riverside borough.
Correct. And I also will take 2 points, please.
Okay. And you are yellow.
Okay. And that goes to the supply, that money. So there we go.
Yep.
And then a player of your choice must take 2 poverty from the supply. Jeez, I don't know.
You're
Guess
playing,
it's going to be you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And I will also take
So it's going to be that kind of game, is it?
Whoa,
Okay.
whoa. Let's
Noted.
just calm down now. Flip that card over. Make sure that was a flipped one. Yes. Then I get £8 and 2 points. So 5, 6, 7, and 8.
And 2 points.
Yep, and I get to remove a poverty.
How nice for you.
I know. And then Waterworks, I get to remove 2 more poverty, which leaves me with 3. That flips. And then I have to pay $1 or a pound, excuse me, for that. And now it's time to count all that poverty. Ugh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7.
That's not bad.
Yeah, well, you know, wasn't ideal, but it is what it is.
All right, over to me.
Yep.
I will draw a card from the top. And I will use my ability once per turn to exchange because I don't like what I just drew. And I will get... Yeah, I'll get that.
Okay.
And then I will run my city.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes.
Let's see here. Making sure order is important. I will start with Albert Dock. That has me discard a card. So these are gone.
Yep.
And I'll get rid of... Yeah, I'll get rid of that one. And gets me 10 pounds. Booyah. 1 point.
Pretty good.
And would flip it. However, I do have the hospital in play, and that's the card that you can flip instead of, in place of, flipping something else. So instead of flipping that, I will flip the hospital. Clockmakers gets me 7 pounds and flips. Highgate Cemetery lets me remove 2 poverty. And
nice.
Flips. And the shops would be taking the coins on the card, taking 2 points and removing a poverty, and then flipping that card. So it is one-time use, but I don't have to use it now. So the question is, can I make better use of that space by leaving it there or by building something else in its place? I think I'm just going to take it. I'll take the 3 pounds. That's fine. So 3 pounds, 2 points, remove 1 poverty. That flips. And then I take poverty back, which is 5 and 1 is 6. That is me.
No, that's not bad at all. All right, so I will...
And?
Yes?
One more.
One more, yes, because of the burrow.
The burrow, yeah. The active burrow does have the penalty of 1 additional.
So I think I will draw 1 card. Oh, what card is it? Well, you know what? We're going to do this. So that's the 1 card I need to draw. So instead of 0 or 2, I'll draw 1. And then I think I will obtain another burrow. I kind of liked that power, but I think I like what's going on over here a bit better.
Okay.
So St. Pancras, and that's for 9 pounds, excuse me. So I paid 10, take 1.
Yep.
That's going to come over here.
And what is the ability on that?
So the ability is at the start of your turn, instead of drawing, look at the top 3 cards of the city deck, keep 1 and return the others.
Nice.
But I do get to draw 3 cards, which is fantastic.
How many points?
7 points.
7 points, all right.
And I get to remove a poverty.
Nice.
All right.
And next up we have...
Yeah, you got it. Perfect. Saint
Marylebone.
Marylebone. Yeah,
right.
Marylebone.
And that gives 3 cards, 3 cards, 3 cards, right? Well, I will start by drawing. I'll just go top of the deck. And I would like an influx of cards. Yeah, I'll take that new burrow. I'll move my money over here. So 5 pounds. We'll bring that into play.
Yep.
Gets me 3 cards. 1.
I feel this game should have metal coins.
2. I almost brought out my
You
own.
should have.
Well, I figured we should be showing what the game comes with,
watch,
right?
you're going to get people no. The metal coins would have been sufficient.
I have many different types of metal coins, but I figured we should be showing what comes with the game.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that's 3. I get 4 points. Still trailing by a bit there, and I get to remove 2 poverty. That is me.
Okay, so to start my turn, I get to, for my ability, draw 3. Look at them, keep 1, and return the others.
Very similar to Scrying for anybody that's played the Arkham Horror LCG. Should have, yeah.
Should have.
They'll be featured in other games.
Ooh, yeah, I'm keeping that one, and I'm assuming they go back in the order that they came.
We had lots of fun with the metal coins and Rum and
Keep 1
Bones
and
playthrough.
return the others.
Yep.
Boop. Yeah. I had a brain fart there for a moment.
Deluxe brass chips, yes, absolutely. I have a history in casinos, so I love playing with chips. We did a live stream of Too Many Bones when that first came out. So the ability of using all of the deluxe chips in that, that was fun.
All right, so we need to put things into the city, although it's looking pretty rough right now. Yikes. All right, so we'll put the hospital,
Okay.
which is going to cost me 2. And we'll remove St. Paul's. Wow, St. Paul's just can't catch a break. I went to St. Paul's High School, actually. And then, oh, well, that's fantastic.
One thing I'll mention right now is I keep I keep displaying my money, not so much for Mandi, but it's more for you guys so you can see how much is currently available. But all of the information that is face up is meant to be seen by all players. You're not allowed to hide anything.
No.
Now, you know, some players would just leave stuff in a big stack so that it makes it more difficult to count, but you're allowed to ask at any point. Anything that is face up is open knowledge. Any of the face down cards are not. Those are face down for the rest of the game.
So I initially had this in my city, but I got rid of the steamboats.
Okay.
So I put that there, and instead I paid the 2 for the Royal Victoria Dock.
Okay.
And I think that will end my building of things into my city.
All right, over to me.
Yes. Woo, that was rough. Yikes.
All right, I will start by drawing a card. And I will draw from the top to start.
Okay.
And then I think for my turn, I am just going to draw 3 more cards.
Interesting.
1, 2.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, 3. That's me. And I'm at 3, 6, 9. That's it.
Okay, so use my ability. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's just shameful. But that's really good. Oh, that's really good. No, I better keep that one. Okay, so I'll keep that one. Put that there. The reason why I left the deck like that is because I'm actually going to draw 3 for my turn.
Okay.
So 1, 2, and 3. So there's a question. So once you have 5 separate cards in your city, you can never go back to 4 or less.
That is correct.
Nope.
You can never go down. You can go up. If I wanted to, I could make 6, 7 and keep going, but that's 1 prestige, or sorry, 1 poverty that you'll be taking for every stack. So it's a balancing act, right? I chose quite early, as a matter of fact right away, that I was going straight to 5. Now that may come back to haunt me a bit because that's minimum 5 poverty that I'm taking every time I run my city. But
and my turn is over.
Those are the choices that you need to make.
It's very brutal. That's why I was so worried about putting too many stacks out, because I know once it gets past a certain point, you're just taking poverty, and it's really hard to remove it.
And
remove the poverty.
One time that I ran my city, I ran it with one of the stacks still face down, not doing anything, so that's not very efficient. And then another time, I took an extra turn to fill in that 1 spot. So just based on those 2 turns, I would have been better off with 4, but I'm going to try and make 5 work and hopefully fill all 5. Now, because I have 1 already in here, because I didn't, I used the hospital to keep that face up. Now I only need to fill 4 to make it the full complement of 5. And that is what I'm going to do. It's my turn. Yep. I need to draw first. And St. Paul's will just keep kicking around.
Wow, St. Paul's. Jeez Louise.
And I will develop my city. I'm doing okay for money. Oh, boy.
Okay, you're doing better than me. I have a pittance over here.
But the question is it enough to get some of those points cards in play? That's the tough part.
I need to teach my kids self-control. Yeah. It's true, though. Because I just want to go crazy.
At the very least, neither of us have taken a loan yet.
It won't happen. I refuse to take a loan in a game because I just can never get rid of it.
If I do not, this will be the first game that I have not taken loans. I've played. I played over the weekend as well, and I took loans. I was able to pay them off though. Whereas that game that I had played with you, I was stuck with them. I could not get rid of them again. You definitely have to choose your timing wisely.
All right.
Okay, I will. Let's see here. I will be. I just need to see all the cards I have here first. Actually, first thing I'll show is Omnibus. So this is another one that would benefit from having 3 or 4 players. So the Omnibus, and I know it's difficult to read, but you can see it's got the ongoing text box there. So in this case, you place £1 from the supply on this card each time any player buys a burrow card. And then when you run it, you take the coins on this card. I'll show that again because, as you can see, there's no flip So this would actually stay in play the whole time.
That's great.
Great in a 4-player game because 4 players buying burrows, and it includes yourself. You're putting a pound on here every time. 2-player game, not very efficient. You're not going to make a lot of money using that.
Thanks, Eric. Talking about our camera setup.
Thank you.
So we use, it's funny, we just use really high quality webcams. We had tried to use my video camera, but that is a whole rejigging of a system because it's high HD, and
at that point, I think I just end up having to buy a new rig, which, we're making this work with 3 webcams. I would like to have those close-ups of better quality, but maybe in the future. Yeah. That'll be the next upgrade step.
Yeah.
Okay, so having said that, Omnibus, not very strong in a 2-player game, so I'm going to use that as a discard. So I'm going to have shipbuilding coming in, costing me 2 pounds, and discarding that Omnibus. I will get 1, 2, 3 spots left. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I will get townhouses in play, costing 4 pounds. So pay 5, take 1. And discarding good old St. Paul's. Nobody's built it. We've picked it up, 4 or 5 times, but nobody's actually built it.
Exactly.
I will build streetlights, discarding Nelson's column. So these need to go. And lastly, how am I doing here?
Absolutely.
7.
Just reading the theme of it. Basically, if you build more than what you can control, it falls into poverty, and that's exactly it. Very thematic.
Sure. Okay. I'll build workers' houses and discard upholders. That's me.
Okay, so I now get to.
That works.
Oh boy! At the start of the turn, I will do this. Seems to be working out well for me.
Okay. While you're doing that, I'm going to show streetlights because this is the first card in play that has a physical cost in the bottom. So you've seen most cards have a cost at the top. There'll be a monetary value there to get it into play. In this case, you don't pay this when you get it into play. You pay that when you run your city, and you can see that this is not a flip. So if I wanted to, I could have this run every single time, keeping it in play, but I would have to pay those 4 pounds every time to get that benefit.
All right, so I'm going to develop my city. So I'm going to play West India Docks, which there's no payment for that, and we will instead now remove Omnibus. And then, oh yeah, I definitely need to get this card in. Brixton Prison, which is great. I love this one. And I'll remove, oh, this hurts my soul.
I know there was at least one person that mentioned they were from London. I'm just going to grab this, if you don't mind.
No, go ahead. While you're doing that, I'll discard this last card here.
Sure.
But these are going to go.
So Brixton Prison, it is a very nice card, for sure. But I don't know if you know the history on this. What I think is the history on this card. So there's the picture. So again, this is a prison. And from what I understand, it looks like it is one of the original tread wheels, is what they were called at the time. Which, I looked this up to confirm, Brixton Prison is one of the first prisons to put those into use, which at the time was a torture device. It was the original treadmill, if you will. And that's one of the running jokes with treadmills is you tell people, you realize this was originally a torture device. So Brixton Prison was one of the first prisons to have a tread wheel, and that's what those 3 prisoners are doing, is they're on the tread wheel.
Interesting.
So there is, there's. I love the artwork and I love the theme, and they're feeding right into it.
Factual bits, exactly. So I may regret this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to build a new stack. Yes, I know. I'm probably going to regret that. Oh boy.
No, look, all the cool kids are doing it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right. And I'm going to remove turners.
Okay.
And that'll end my turn.
All right.
Treadmill is still a torture device. I work out.
Yeah, exactly.
And I despise the treadmill. So yes, I would agree.
Okay. I will start my turn by looking to see what's out there.
Yeah, I know your eyes would gravitate toward that card, but I have bigger
Little
plans.
Miss affecting me with all your cards. I'm going to start by drawing this.
Of course you are.
Well, the reason I don't know if I'm going to play it yet. It'll be a turn or two before I can anyway. So police force, 2 pounds to get into play. But I get to remove a poverty, and the player of my choice gains a poverty.
Gee.
So thematically, police force, I'm arresting somebody and sending them over to another borough is what that comes down to. Actually, I'd be sending them to Brixton Prison because you've built it. All right.
Ha ha.
So I've drawn a card. I'm going to run my city.
Okay. Yes, great.
Townhouses. I'm going to show this, and I'm going to use this first. It won't be very effective with my current city, but this shows another point for order. So townhouses, I did have to pay 4 to get it into play. The text at the bottom, the benefit is gain 1 prestige for each blue and pink card on your building display, including this one. So the order matters. You wouldn't want to play other blue and pink ones first because then they wouldn't be there to trigger that ability. So here I'm going to get 2 prestige for the 2 blue cards I have. That flips.
Mm-hmm.
I will then use shipbuilding to discard a card.
Yes, Zumba's so fun. I do Zumba sometimes.
Get 6 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 points. Catching up. That flips. I'll use Albert Dock to discard another card. Get 10 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And 1 point. Oh, so close.
So close.
Flips. Workers' houses lets me remove 2 poverty.
Fantastic.
And flips. And lastly, streetlights. Yeah, I'll run it. Costs 4 pounds to run it, so paying for the electricity to run the streetlights gets me 1 pound, which ties us all up, and lets me remove 2 poverty, which gets me back down to 3.
Yeah, I've got a lot of poverty.
But like I mentioned before, does not flip. So I could continue to run that, or if at some point I decide that is not worth it for me anymore, I can just build over it. So I've done that. Now I take poverty back. So 5, 1 in my hand is a total of 6. And how you looking? 9. We're still pretty close on poverty. All right.
Okay, so, oh my goodness, this is so awful. Oh boy, okay, well let's start with my ability by drawing 3 and choosing 1.
Yep.
Wow, these couldn't be any worse, but I will take this one. All right.
I sense a city running about to happen.
Well, I don't know. It's looking kind of rough right now, but I think I'm going to have to run my city. I have no money. This is terrible.
You could always just build more.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, okay.
This was already pushing it on this regard. So I
Just
think...
giving you options, that's all.
Thank you.
No problem.
I think I will run, start with Royal Victoria Dock.
Okay.
And you know what? I'm actually going to use my hospital to not flip this.
Okay.
So I will take 10 and a point.
And discarding the card to do so.
I'm running.
Yep.
Yes! Yes! Oh my goodness. This is the first time I had a card where I get to discard. I'm like, why am I That's right. We want to discard. This little symbol is good. Thank goodness. There's one in here I've been waiting to get rid of all game. It's like, don't tell me to discard my cards. So I use the hospital to keep that in place.
Yep.
Then we have the West India Docks happening. And that's going to give me 7, and I also get to discard a card for that.
Yep.
All right, we'll just discard this one, and that will flip. I am choosing not to do this.
Okay.
I know I'm going to take poverty for it. That's fine. I will take the 9 here and discard a card. I will get rid of streetlights and take the 9. So I'll take a 10 and give back 1.
So the card that Mandi is opting not to run is the Brixton Prison.
Right.
Reason being, the benefit to that card is you discard up to 3 cards, and that one is what? Remove a poverty for each one?
Right, for each one. Okay. So it doesn't make sense.
So there are some cards that you remove up to 3 and you gain prestige for each one, or you might be gaining money, or in this case, removing poverty. But Mandi had already removed a whole bunch of cards. She's left with 1, so that she's not getting the full benefit out of that. So she's opting not to use it, and she can use it the next time she runs her city.
So now we're going to take poverty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Nothing happening here.
Yep.
Wow, it's just loading up in here.
Which puts you up to...
Oh boy, so let's see. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15!
I don't mind that so much. I'm at 9 right now. Okay.
I know. That's pretty poor.
All right, let's see here. What are our borough options? Hackney.
Yeah, I hate treadmills too. That's also why I didn't use it.
I like treadmills. I'd prefer to run outside, but
see, that's what I would rather.
And I'll run outside year round. I've run in plus 40 and I've run in minus 40 weather. I'll run
minus 40 degrees Celsius. Let's just
be
clear.
Celsius. I had an ice beard with the balaclava I was wearing.
At that point, I'd rather just go. Actually, no. Snowboarding in minus 40 is not enjoyable.
Okay, so I'm going to draw a card first,
okay.
And I will draw from the top.
And Mandi, should you have gotten a prestige for that second card in your city? Yes. Did I get a point for that?
No, you didn't.
I did not.
Thank you very much.
See? Thank you.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm watching you.
You know I'll always point out stuff if I see it.
I'm just kidding.
I am not the kind of player that would try and hide stuff like
I'm kidding.
Okay. Now, I got the money ready, but I don't think I had it in. Okay, so £6. I am building Hackney. So the ability on this one, New Borough, is whenever you discard a card, pay £1 to treat that card as another color. So again, when you're developing your city, you need to discard a card of the same color. I can pay £1 to discard anything match that color. It's £1 at a time, but it's a way to get better paupers, paupers, as we were corrected, because I can treat that as any color. I get 5 cards. That's a nice influx of cards there. I'll start from the top.
Selection.
1, 2.
Hey, Nerfenstein.
Hey,
so
Nerfenstein.
For everyone who doesn't know, Nerfenstein's a regular. So, and did it say you were
in
Austin, Texas?
Yes, and she's normally from Australia, but I know she's in the States right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we'll have to
so
talk
thanks
about
for
that.
joining us while you're in the States. 3. I will stop there. I'm going to draw from here instead now.
Oh, that's right, yeah, because you have your borough.
Ooh, what do I want?
Oh, I know, there's a lot of blue. That's my fault.
4. And 1 more. Makes 5. I get 2 points.
Oh, boy.
And I get to remove a poverty. That is me. Over to you.
All right, so I will use my ability to draw 3 and choose 1. Oh, well, that's there's no choice there. And pop those back on. And for my actual turn, I will obtain a borough. I'm kind of liking what's happening over here at Battersea.
Okay.
So for £5.
May I?
Yes.
And what Mandi is liking here, because we know she's starting to get a lot of the poverty built up.
It's rough.
So £5 doesn't cost a lot. Not a huge card benefit. Only 1 card, 3 points, removing 1 poverty. However, every time she runs her city, she gets to remove 2 more. That's great if she can keep that as her active borough.
So I get 1 card, which I will take from the board. Take this one. And I had 3 points. 1, 2, 3. And I remove, 1 poverty. Every little bit counts.
Yes, it does. All right, over to me. Let's see here.
Yeah, you've got quite a selection of cards.
I do. All right, I'll draw from the top to start. Not liking that, and you know what that was.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because you got to see those? Yes. Yes, I did.
Ah, that's fantastic.
That puts me at 3, 6, 7, 8. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to draw 3. Lovely.
Oh, we got that other one.
That's my turn, but now I need to discard back down to 9, which lets me actually get rid of those paupers. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And those are gone. Okay.
Oh, bye, Nerfenstein. Thanks so much for dropping in.
Thanks for stopping by to say hi, yes.
Yeah.
Hope the rest of your trip goes well.
Yes, enjoy your vacation. Okay, are you done?
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay, so I will have to draw a card. It's just a matter of what I would like to draw. I actually think I will draw this here.
Yep.
And I will actually do some developing of the city. Ugh, that seems a little rich. All right, so I will add sewers, which is going to cost me 4. So let's take 6 back. Oops. There we go. And I will discard the streetlights. Did I discard already? No.
No.
Not yet. Streetlights. Sorry, it's deep in thought here. And then I will add the shipbuilding for 2. And discard Turners. And that will be the end of my turn.
Okay.
No cards.
All right. I will draw first from the top.
I don't have that ability anymore, which is kind of nice.
I will then, I am going to take the develop my city action, which means I can also play any action cards because you can only do that when you're developing your city. So in this case, it is Jewish refugees. I get to draw 2 cards and then remove this card from the game. So that is out. 1 from the top. And 1 from display.
Oh my goodness, quite the hand you have.
It is. So now I need to start building with it. Do something with this.
Yes.
I have some money. Ooh.
So has anyone in the chat played the original? I know we had talked about it a little bit, but I'm very curious because I have not played the original. So very curious to know if they've noticed any differences.
All right, police force coming into play.
Oh, okay.
Spending £2 and discarding the bridge. And then, oh boy, I might be in a bit of a pickle.
They should have played the Great Fire of London and then this. Okay.
Sewers, paying 4.
Okay, yeah, so everyone's in the same boat as me. I know these are new, replacing the board, but I'm just curious. Okay, thanks.
And discarding Buckingham Palace to do so.
Yep.
I will build. Oh, I wish I had a way to get money. Could take a loan.
Money.
Oh, not for long. But the thing is, I have no way to get money here, is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Understood.
I have many ways to spend money. I have no way to get money, which is unfortunate. Okay. What do I have there? 8, 3, 4, 6. Okay. I will play the University of London, discarding. Oh, that's a nice one. Oh boy. Streetlights. Okay. 3, 5, 6, 7.
Oh, I see you're trying to get rid of all this poverty.
British Museum, paying another £4.
Wow. But you're getting rid of stuff.
And discarding sewers. Ooh, how far do I go? Why not? Get rid of my whole hand. So the street lights, I could leave them there if I wanted to and run them again because that was one that I ran before, but does not have that flip symbol on the on the bottom corner. However, I'm going to build over it with Albert Hall, paying another £5.
Wow.
See? No monies.
Yeah, but you're getting lots of points.
And discarding the sewers.
Dobby, hello. How are you? I feel like it's been a while since we've had a chat.
Okay.
All right.
That was a long one, but done.
So I think I shall start with drawing a card. And then I'm going to take the action of drawing 3 cards.
Yeah, you are.
So I'll take
yeah, you are.
this one.
And I didn't want to give those to you, but that's part of the challenge, right? Now,
and
this actually has
3.
more of an effect in a 2-player game in the sense that it's just the 2 of us. So as I said before, roughly half the deck comes through me, half the deck goes through Mandi, but anytime you're discarding, that's giving the other player the option to take it. Now, if we were playing, say, a 4-player game, it would only be the person to my left that would have the ability to take those cards. So there were a lot of cards that I just handed off to Mandi that lets her get rid of poverty. I wanted to hold on to them, but I also wanted to build as much as I could in my city. And it's at the point where I've only got 8 poverty. I would have been paying to put those into my city with no effect because I'm already removing 3, 4, 5, 6. That would have been 9 if I played just one more of those cards. So I ended up throwing them away to build other things, but we'll see how that works out.
Your turn.
Okay. Well, I will draw from the top, and I will run my city.
I thought you might.
Order is not going to matter here. So here we go. Police force.
What triggers game end? Yes, when the draw deck runs out.
Yeah. So it won't be too much longer.
We're close. Yep. It seems like it's not, but we're getting there.
And once the deck is depleted, each other player will get one more turn. So if I was to deplete the deck in a 2-player game, Mandi will get one more turn.
Right.
4-player game, the other 3 players would get to play one more turn. So I'm triggering the police force. A player of my choice gains 1 poverty.
Oh.
I choose you.
Sucker.
I will take 2 points to tie it all up. I also remove 1 poverty. That is done. Sewers, I get to remove 3 poverty. That is done. Albert Hall gets me 2 points. That's it, but is worth another 3 as well at the end of the game. And I'll flip that face down because that's not needed anymore. University of London, 1 point and remove a poverty. And British Museum. Actually, does not flip.
Doesn't flip,
Does not flip. British Museum, also 1 point.
And no flipping.
And remove a poverty. So these two, University of London and British Museum, they do not have that flip symbol. So if I wanted to, again, I could keep those and run them multiple times.
Yeah.
But they're not worth huge points. They only remove 1 poverty, but they're already paid for. So in the case of the British Museum, it cost me £4 to get it into play, but I don't have to pay those £4 repeatedly. It's just the one time to get it into play. Now I could keep on running that every time. And collecting poverty, 5 and 2 is 7. That's me.
Alrighty. So now, oh boy, I get to draw a card. So let's draw from the top. That's not what I was going for, but that'll work. And I will actually use this turn to build.
Develop your city.
That's correct. So we'll pay 4 for that, which is going to give me 1. And I will discard this one. And believe it or not, that'll be the end of my turn. That's it.
Yes, Netrunner. I was into Netrunner for a couple of years. Hard to keep up with that scene and play other games. You need to be very focused on that one. Okay, over to me. I will...
Yes, I had the quickest turn ever. I find this is when it just starts to move.
Draw a card. And then I'm going to purchase... Yeah, I'm going to purchase a borough to get another influx of cards. So I'm going here. £5 will get me Islington and Stoke Newington.
Nice.
Which drops me down to £5. That's a little scary. That's Lone Region now. We'll see. That gets me 4 cards. I'll start from the top. 1. That's not bad. 2. Sure. 3. Okay, all from the top. 4.
Okay, not bad.
2 points. And lets me remove 3 poverty.
Which is pretty good.
That's me.
All right, so I think let's start off by drawing 1. Let's just go off the top, see what that gets me. Okay. And I will actually just draw 3 cards. 1, a 2, and a 3. Oh boy, that's a lot of selection. Oh my goodness. Oh, well that's unfortunate.
Okay, I will start by drawing. And then I will develop my city. Hard to do with only $5 though.
It's a bit rough, isn't it?
I may be in a tough spot.
Maybe not. Might surprise yourself.
No, there's not much of a surprise here. You know what?
Oh dear.
No, I'm not going to develop. I'm going to draw 3 cards. Yeah, 1, 2. Oh no. 3.
Oh my gosh, I just saw the deck and it's getting really
2,
low.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That lets me get rid of 2 useless cards in my hand. All right. Over to you.
Okay, I just saw how low that deck is getting, and I know, sir.
Yeah, it's speeding up now.
I don't like it. So, yeah, that's no bueno. Okay. Is there a hand limit? Yes, it's 9.
Yeah.
And I've been close a few times. I know you've been over a couple of times and had to get rid of cards.
Yeah, hand limit of 9, and that's a way if you draw over the 9, you can draw over, but you have to discard back down at the end of your turn. That's a way that you can discard those cards that are useless in your hand otherwise.
Okay, so I'm drawing. Oh, for goodness sakes, this is just bad all around. Okay, well, I'm going to run my city. I know, it looks like a lot. There are things happening here. So, let's just make sure there's nothing I need to do in advance here. I guess I could start with discarding up to 3 cards, removing 1 poverty per card discarded. Doesn't really matter now, does it? Let's use that. So, okay. So we're going to do...
So the first one's gone.
1.
Okay. So Mandi's running her Brixton Prison.
Correct.
Which is going to get her to remove
2.
poverty for every card she discards.
And 3. Per card square. Yeah, and that's going to give me... So I get to remove 3 poverty from that. Okay. 1, 2, 3. All right. So that's 1 down. And, oh boy, I just feel like there's so much happening right now. I need a minute. So I can get rid of...
You're running a city. It's a big job.
I know. I get rid of 3 poverty, so the 5, and take back 2.
So that's with the sewers?
That's with the sewers.
Or the sewers, if
I guess depending on how you want to call it. And then I'm going to take another 3 out. 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
With my other set of sewers.
Now I'm getting worried. Oh, yeah, you're getting down there. Right?
And then I get to take up another 2.
Do.
So about 5 and take back 3. Now that's where it ends with the removal of that. But then at least I get rid of some. Close enough. And then I get 10 pounds and a point.
Okay, I got your point.
And I get to remove a card. So I'm actually going to do that. And then I have this for 6 pounds and 2 points.
And you're triggering that, so you will be discarding.
Correct. And I will discard.
And I got your 2 points.
That's this, and we'll get rid of this card. Now I will be taking some poverty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But it's not horrible.
Nope, that's better than it was.
Yeah. 1, 2, and 3. There we go. Actually, I should trade these in.
All right, let's see here.
3, 4, 5. So I'm trading in 5 for a 5.
Sure.
All right. Wow. I wanted to do it just... Actually, what I need to do is get rid of cards because this is getting down. Yes, money is worth... Is it...
Money is every 3 is worth a point.
Is it worth a point? Yeah.
So there are much better exchanges for points points to pounds, but
yeah. So every 3.
3 to 1 at the end.
Yeah. So this is now about the time where I start calculating.
This is the time where I think I need a loan. Oh no.
Like I don't want to run my city, but at the same time I really want to get rid of stuff.
Oh boy.
I really regret taking that on, but I think I know what I need to do.
Oh boy. All of my cards are expensive and I have no money. Let's see here.
Every 3 is worth a cheeseburger. I wish. So I have 25, 26, 27, which would be...
Well.
No,
okay.
That would be...
Let's show the folks at home what happens when you take a loan. Taking a loan.
Aye.
So I get 10 pounds for the loan.
Well, 10 pounds is 10 pounds.
Let's see what I can do with it. So, start of my turn, I will draw a card. Actually, I will draw.
And do the cards down in your engine are worth points too. Yes. So if I'm answering this correctly, any cards that are face down here will be calculated for your end game points. Absolutely.
Yeah, not all, but any cards that have
the points
that
here.
little symbol here. So any cards in the benefit box is worth points immediately, and then any cards here are worth points at the end of the game.
Cards in your hand will not be counted.
No, cards in your hand at the end of the game is actually an additional poverty.
Right, which I'm really wanting to get rid of this right now. I don't know how to do it.
Okay, so I drew at the start of my turn. I will be developing my city, which lets me take the action card action, which is draw 2 cards, then remove this card from the game. So I'll draw 1 from the top.
No,
and
Mike,
1
no.
from here. Yeah, I'm into loan territory. We'll see how bad it gets.
I can't do it. I have money. It's just a matter of calculating the points. Like right now with the money that I have, it's worth about 9 points.
So train station north,
Hey.
costing £3, discarding shops.
This is a problem.
That leaves me with, oh boy, and I have no way.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
This is what I'm worried about right now.
Okay.
And there's cards on the table that are
7.
not happening.
Oh man, is $10 not going to be enough? Is that possible? Come on.
I don't want to take any more poverty. Like right now, it's rough.
Okay.
I'm almost tempted to do that.
Because I can, I will build another train station north. So that's another 3. Discarding Grand Hotel. I need to keep building. Well, I don't need to.
But
Don't have to, but yeah. I want this as efficient as possible. I'm left with $9. What can I get with this much monies?
Oh my gosh, I'm trying to calculate this. This is not.
I'd love to build this blue card. However, I've only got 1 in my hand, so I cannot build that. 9 cards, eh? Or £9.
Yeah,
I cannot take a second loan.
Bad.
I cannot take a second loan. So what I will do... I will be so broke. Okay.
Yeah. Although this... Yeah, but then I'm...
All right. £7 to build an underground. Discarding the Great Exhibition.
Oh, that's not worth any points either, but...
And I would love to build some more. I could build over these 2 that were remaining from the previous time that I had run my city. But I do not have enough money, and I do not wish to take another loan, so I will stop there.
How much poverty did you have?
6.
Yeah, exactly. I have 12, double what you have. So it's like, well...
But you also did just run your city, so that's where you'll be at your peak, right?
Right.
I'm about to do the same thing, and I've got 5 cards in hand, picking up 1 at the start of my turn. That's 6. That's 11 poverty I could potentially be taking, minus whatever I can get rid of. So
the $9 will get you a nice pen. You might have to read it over there. It disappears.
Tend to sign the loan papers or several. Yes. Yeah.
I think. Oh, this is so difficult. I will take this. Now, what to do? What to do? Okay, I think I will. Oh, that's a problem. This bothers me to no end. Okay, I think I will develop my city.
Yep.
I didn't really want to do that, but I didn't have a choice. But then I'm losing. That's.
We're down to it now.
I know, I'm calculating. I'm sorry. So I'm really just 1 ahead. Yeah. If I do that. Or if I do this straight up. Oh, that makes so much more sense. Oh, that makes more sense. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of the underground.
Yep.
I'm going to keep the Great Exhibition, which is going to cost me 3. And then I'm going to... Well, this might pan out if it works out the way that I would like, but it doesn't really do what I would like. Okay, so we'll do this here, and we'll get rid of this.
Okay. So that's you? Okay, I will start by regrettably drawing a card. I don't wish to have more cards in my hand, but I do have to draw.
I know. It's so quiet now because we're calculating exactly how many points and how, like, there's only a few cards left, so.
Okay, running my city.
Oh, you are. Good.
I am.
Okay.
I am. Okay. Order is not going to matter here. So I'll just start from the left. Train station north. States. Gain 2 pounds for each North London borough you have. So again, that's going to reference the top left corner. I have 4 North boroughs, which means I get 8 pounds for that.
Money's good.
Get some money back. And I get to remove 1 poverty. So again, just as a reminder, on that card, it has that line between the two, but that is not an either-or situation. You get to do everything on that card. And speaking of everything on that card, it's also remove a card to do so.
That's nice.
Oh, bye-bye, poor purrs.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next up, train station north. I will do this again. We worked so well the first time. That's another 8 pounds. Another card gone.
Oh my goodness. Oh. Decisions.
And another poverty gone.
While you're doing that, I'm calculating in my mind.
Okay. Next up, we have the underground. I paid 7 pounds to get this into play. I gain 3 prestige plus an additional 1 for each borough that I own. So that'll be a total of 8 prestige. Puts me at 38. But if I have both North and South London, I have to pay 2 pounds because I'm building the underground underneath the river to get between the 2 boroughs. And I need to discard a card.
Hoping you discard the one of my dreams.
This one?
No, not that one.
Because I'm not giving you that one.
No, I have other plans.
All right. Well, there's another underground if you want it.
It's too many.
Then University of London gets me 1 more point, minus 1 prestige. British Museum gets me 1 more point.
How did you get up to like 40 points when I wasn't looking?
Rid of 1. Majority of that was this. That was 8 points right there.
Well, that's pretty good.
Yes. And that is me. So now I will remind you that when you take a loan, you can only pay it at the start of your turn, and that is very important because, not in a good way, I would love to pay this loan off before I take any of the poverty, because I'm going to be taking poverty for that, but you can only do it at the start of your turn. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, plus 1 more for the loan is 9 poverty coming back at me. That's me. Over to you.
All right. Well, I get to draw a card.
And I'm right back up to 11.
Oh, for goodness sakes. I won't even tell you what this is right now. I'm so irritated.
And at the end of the game, if you have any loans remaining that you are not able to pay, you can pay them off at the end of the game. If you cannot pay them, it's minus 7 points for each 10 pounds.
So I have decided to acquire a borough for 5 pounds.
Yep.
That's going to give me 2 cards. 2 cards, eh? What do I want to do? I could draw that last card.
2 more.
No, I could draw those last 2 cards.
You could.
So might as well. Let's draw those 2. Which is exactly, it gave me absolutely nothing. I'll take 3 points. 1, 2, 3. And I'll get rid of 4 poverty.
Which means I get 1 more turn.
Yeah, I'm stuck with 3 cards, but...
Okay, so to start, I must take a card.
Nope.
Shoot. You did not leave me with good options here.
Trust me, what I picked up was not very good.
I would love to pay off that loan. What does that leave me with? Leaves leaves me with 1 pound. Oh boy. So here's what I'm contemplating. I do have to take a card, so it's going to be a card from the tableau. Then I must still do one of the 4 actions. I could draw 3 cards, which is just going to be 1 additional poverty for each one. That's no good at the end of the game. I could run my city, which I do still have 2 cards here to run, but all that gets me is 2 points, minus 2 poverty, and then I'm going to have to collect poverty for everything that I have. That is not efficient at all.
I didn't want to drag it out. I could have taken cards,
I understand.
And I was worried that by giving you another round, it would have given you more opportunity to get some more cards. I mean, unfortunately, the cards out are not very helpful at the moment.
So I think what I'll do, I want to pay off that loan. Oh man, I want to pay off that loan. That is troublesome. And if I buy a burrow, that's just going to be cards in hand. Okay. Shoot. Well then, I will not be paying off the loan. I will take this.
Okay.
I think this is probably the least punishing way to end my turn.
And you're building?
Yeah.
All right.
But it's going to cost me money to do it with no benefit. That's the downside. However, yeah. Oh, boy.
Passes out.
Yeah. Okay. I'll build the sewers. That cost me 4. And discard that. And then I will build Whitehall, which costs me 4. And discard this. So that would normally get rid of those, but that's fine.
It's at the end of the game.
So I don't actually get to run my city. But
No.
at least I don't take the poverty for running my city. I got rid of all the cards in my hand. I am stuck with that loan.
Right.
All right. So first off is you do have to take 1 poverty for every card that you have remaining.
So yes, I still will be taking 3. All right.
Make sure I'm not
Actually, let's just do this so I can keep track of it better. 5 and trade that in for a 5er, so I have 11. Yikes. Okay.
Then we're going to be looking at the total of prestige that we have on our cards.
Yes, we'll need a moment to calculate that.
So again, it's only going to be the cards that have that symbol in the bottom right corner.
Oh, this is not looking good for me at all. So much better than I thought. I thought I did better. Yee. Not as good as I would have hoped.
Nor is mine.
Wow, that was disappointing. Ew.
All right, how many do you have?
18.
Okay, so 18.
And where did you learn to shuffle?
48. 7 years of casino experience. I worked in casinos for 7 years, so yes.
So very skilled. Wow.
Many, well, and poker for 30 years. I've been around cards even before that all my life, so yes. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yep, 10. So I've got 10, 20, 25.
25? I just wasn't paying attention to the points.
65. I'm going to go backwards, don't worry. There is no 50-point token, so what I've been doing is I just use a 5 pound note underneath to indicate that you've wrapped around the 50-point mark. Okay, after that is paying back any loans that you can. I have a loan. I cannot pay it back. Then you get 3 pounds. Sorry, you get 1 point for every 3 pounds.
Yeah, so I think I'm actually going to be at 6 points, but let me just double check here. So that's 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So
6 points.
6 points.
54.
So we'll just toss that aside for now.
All right, then every unpaid loan is minus 7 points. So that minus 7 puts me down to 10. All of a sudden, it is a very close game. Poverty tokens.
Yeah, this is where I might, unfortunately.
You're at 11?
I'm at 11.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Wow. Which means, again, like I said at the start of the stream, it's not necessarily how much poverty you have. It's how much you have in relation to everybody else. So in this case, it's a net of 0. We don't actually lose any points. I was hoping to catch Mandi with some poverty there.
Yes.
But no effect with that. That's it.
I know. Look
so
at how
player with the most prestige wins.
So close.
Yep.
Oh, that was so close.
But yes, that was a very close game. Yep.
Oh.
So there you go.
Wow. Oh,
that's
my
London.
Goodness. Oh, I think I was due for that because I think I beat you a couple times. See my shirt? Nope. I didn't win. So let's start off by saying thank you. I thought it was a great game as well, actually.
Glad you enjoyed it.
You know, I try not to take a loan, so it is feasible to do fairly well without taking a loan. So I have never played the original, so I can't draw any comparisons. I know I had talked to Suze about it, and I think we had also talked about it on the podcast, and she had mentioned that she had played with a board. I know Tom had mentioned this as well, and I know he was a little iffy about how the new one was going to play out.
Jobby felt like he was here.
See, there you go.
Yes.
So I did enjoy the burrows. I know in the previous game it was a board and there was like some proximity rules that happened. I liked the fact that you were able to get benefits from these cards, but there were others that were, can work against you by running your city. So I liked the fact that you could acquire these, get some bonuses because it kind of gave you that push throughout the game.
Yep.
I definitely didn't take advantage of cards with the higher point value. I was scared of spending money, which, I mean, I had money in the end, but really it's a 3-to-1 ratio. Was it worth it? I should have probably spent my money a bit more wisely acquiring the cards with a higher point value.
Yeah, you don't want to be left with too much money at the end. You don't want to be left holding a loan, but you don't want to be left with too much money because 3-to-1 compared to anything else that is available out here is not a great ratio at all. That's a has-run kind of point. It's you can get much better. But it is, like Manny was saying, it can be very stressful to get some of those high point cards because they come at a high cost with no benefit whatsoever except endgame points.
Right.
So you need to have a good chunk of change to be able to spend it on pure endgame points and not getting any benefit at the time. But yeah, speaking of loans, I took one right at the end. Should I have? Well, it worked out. Who knows what would have happened if I didn't. I have taken loans at the start, and if you are not able to get rid of them right away, then you take a poverty for each 10 pounds every time you run your city. So that's where that first game, I really got kind of behind the 8 ball because one of the 3 starting cities that I pointed out does have the benefit of you gain 12 pounds when you take a loan and still pay it back at 15.
Right.
So I figured, okay, well, I'm going to take advantage of that ability. Anytime I get an ability in a game that's unique to me, I'm going to try and make use of it. But I did that too early, potentially too often, could not pay them back, and then that was just I was overloaded with poverty because of that.
I'm just too scared. That's my thing. I just don't want to be caught up with that.
Who knows? Maybe that loan did make the difference because it let me get a few more cards into my city before I ran it for the last time.
Right.
But that's pretty much any Martin Wallace game that I've ever played is. There's always the option for loans. You can always dig yourself a hole if you wish.
I definitely think, I know you haven't played this game at 4. I have. No. I do find, like I was saying earlier, that with 4 it does definitely get a bit more competitive. Certain cards generally I find become a bit more attractive to you in a 4-player game. Gets a little bit more, I don't want to say cutthroat, but it does get a bit more competitive. We'll go with that word.
Right.
I do find with 2 players, some of those cards are, okay, those are the kind of the cards you're going to use to get rid of when you have to build in your city because they're not really doing any benefit.
Well, like we kept picking up, what was it?
There's Omnibus was one.
No, the blue card that was, I think it was 8 pounds to get 6 points.
Oh.
It was a church of some sort.
Right.
But yeah, at the beginning of the game, between the two of us, we kept picking that card up and then throwing it away. We were just using it to match another blue card because we were both scared to actually spend the money to get the points.
So early.
It just kind of kept going back and forth as I used to just,
And yes, I see someone talking about student loans. Yes, I may try to pay those suckers off real quick.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I totally hear you on that. I'm conservative with the loans.
Now, components.
Yes, I know. Someone is patiently waiting to know what your thoughts are on the components.
It is a great box. I love book boxes like this.
Osprey does a really great job with their boxes. I love the way that they open.
Yeah, so we've got the book box.
Yes.
Book style box, I should say. And it has a great insert. They kept in mind people that like to sleeve. So there is room. So you've got the 3 decks separated because you do start with A, B, and C decks. So they have room for the 3 decks there, and there's give for anybody that does sleeve their cards. Now, that brings up my next point. The card stock, fantastic. This is a nice heavy card stock.
I know what you're going to talk about.
Very thick. Like I said, I've been around cards almost my entire life. Very thick cards. Wonderful. But it feels like they're missing a clear coat.
Right.
They are linen finish, and normally a linen finish gives you nice slippery cards because you get that cushion of air between the two. These stick. I know very well how to fan cards, and I cannot fan these too well. It might look like I actually did okay, but
yeah.
for myself, those are all sticking. And this copy has only been played 4 times?
Maybe 5.
There's wear on the sides.
Already?
Yep.
I know.
I don't know if it'll show up. Oh, yeah, no, it shows up there.
Yeah, you can see it.
So you can see, I'll put another one behind it so you can see there's wear along the edges already. Yeah. And this copy has only been played 4 or 5 times. So this is a game that, that aside, everything, I'll go back to this camera. Everything here is great quality. I would actually recommend, whether you're a sleever or not, sleeve these cards because they wear very quick and they stick.
Yeah, definitely. And definitely I would juice up the components a little bit, maybe with some coins.
Well, I do that for every game. I figured I should show what's actually in the game now. But maybe next time I'll have the
people are like calling for card tricks. It's like, I'm never going to play a card game again.
Yeah, except for stream.
So overall, yeah, paperback. Yeah, so I have paperback, and actually my whole deck for paperback is sleeved. It's a lot of cards. Any game that I have a lot of cards, Food Chain Magnets, another one, all sleeved.
Right.
So overall, I really enjoyed the game. I think I like it better at a higher player count, just to get that bit of competitive feel. I'm not saying it has to be aggressive, but it just gives you a little bit of tension in the game. Yep. So for me, overall, I really enjoyed it. I love the art of the game, and the gameplay is fairly simple to pick up. I mean, it's Martin Wallace game, but it's, I find, on the lighter spectrum of his types of games.
It is.
So
you still have the lone options in there, but yeah, no, I agree. It is on the lighter spectrum, and I agree. I love the art. I love the color palette that they used for everything. Yeah, it's gorgeous artwork. I love that there is the history behind it. Like I said, I had to look up Brixton Prison to see if that was what I was seeing on that card, and sure enough, it was. So I love that they have those elements in it. Yeah. So overall, there you go. We enjoyed it. A few little elements with the components that we hope that will be adjusted, or at least you can make those adjustments for yourself. But that's it. So on that note, do we want to talk about, so actually I should mention this. So next week I will not be here. I will be with the rest of the Dice Tower team in Essen. So excited. It's my first time in Essen. How nice. How nice.
But Michael will be here doing a stream for
I will. I'll keep the stream going. We do this every Monday. So next week will be my second attempt at doing a solo stream. Doing
Hostage? No.
Yes.
Hostage.
Hostage Negotiator. I was trying to remember the expansion with the Crime Wave.
Crime Wave, yes.
It's a standalone expansion. So I'll be doing Hostage Negotiator trying to do Hostage Negotiator with the Crime Wave expansion. It might be difficult for me to take care of chat and teach the game all at the same time, but I'll do the best I can.
I'll try and convince him to put some hair color in there, so you'll have a little bit of me here while I'm in Essen.
Can I borrow your big meeple?
Yeah, exactly. I'll give you one of the shiny meeples. So if you have requests for games, because sometimes people do, you can send it to either to me at number 2 die4games@gmail.com.
And I am at Palom21, PAWLOM 21@gmail.com.
And if you're looking for me, you'll see me, well, you all know on the Dice Tower podcast, or on Board Game Breakfast with the Lunchtime Crew, as well as with the podcast every 2 weeks with Suzanne Sheldon. You can also find me with my other channel, To Die For Games, at www.todieforgames.com, and all of our social media will be there as well. I think we've covered it. Yeah. So yes, and also streaming through the Dice Tower every Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as well as through Twitch under To Die For Games.
And if you're looking to contact us, you can find our information on the To Die For Games website.
Yeah, the website, all of the social media is there, all of the contact information, or, well, and I'm with To Die For Games, you can also email me, with the Dice Tower, you can also email me through there. So, thanks. The email, so you can message me at the number 2 die4games@gmail.com.
And I'm Palom21, PAWLOM21@gmail.com.
Yeah. So, and if you're really stuck, you can message through the Dice Tower, and the message will get to me. So, that is also another avenue. I should probably just get a Dice Tower email. I will work on that. I have one with Suzanne, so I'll work on one for the actual channel.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
I think that's it.
Thank you to everyone that has joined us.
Thank you.
Had a wonderful night. I don't know about you, but we had some great questions, great people in the chat. I had a lot of laughs. I needed a good laugh this week. So
no, that was good.
I appreciate it. We hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully we'll see all of you back next Monday, cheering Michael on in his solo game.
Exactly. All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.